I'm a scientist.
The spices of the blood of 1,000 men and women were filled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken. Eyes gouged from bloody sockets. Flesh burned black.
Please. Await the dead. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no tears. What you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, guys.
Trent, hey, that was great.
Yeah, I'm smooth. I'm smooth like Fred Sanford.
That's it. See, tonight in World of the Unexplained, we have a distinguished gentleman, a doctor from Egypt. His name is Dr. Ossama Alsaadawi. He's going to be talking about some very, very fascinating discoveries that he's made in his new translations of the Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Yeah, basically, I mean, rethinking everything we know about
everything that Egyptologists in general have been wrong all these years.
Well, I mean, mistaken, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
and this all goes back to Champollion and his translation of the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
All right, so
without further ado, let's put them on, huh?
All right, we'll do that. Dr. Alsaadawi, are you with us?
Yes, I am with you.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming on our show. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm very honored.
Oh,
thank you.
As are we.
Yes.
I guess we can get right to it. Let's begin with a little bit of your background, your education, and basically what got you interested in beginning to study Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Oh, yes. In fact, my reasons to become a student of the ancient Egyptian language is simply that I am a native Egyptian. You know, being an Egyptian is a great motive to make me study the ancient Egyptian language. For example, if you discover that your grandfather left a message to you which is written in some sort of ancient Egyptian English, wouldn't you be eager to learn this ancient English to know the real content of the message?
Oh, certainly.
In my opinion, I think you will do that without hesitation.
Of course,
certainly.
Of course.
Of course, most of the Egyptians for a long time were eager to know what is written on these walls and the mural pictures and so on.
It's very fascinating stuff.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And now I noticed that you had something that you wanted to tell for the first time on radio tonight, and you would save that for our show.
Yes.
It's a new discovery.
Please allow me to air from your popular radio show, World of the Explained, a special great announcement about a very great discovery, which is to be declared now to the first time in history. May I do that?
Absolutely.
Sure. And do you want to wait until later in the show, or do you want to do it now?
Now, and I will repeat it at the end of the show.
Okay, great. Let's have it.
Okay.
On March 20, year 2006, I, Dr. Ossama Alsaadawi, have the honor to announce that the ancient Egyptian goddess Sishat is in fact the well-known Queen of Sheba.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yes. This is the first time in history that this declaration is to be announced. She was the Queen of Sheba of the Old Kingdom of Yemen, who is known in history by the name of Bilqis, Queen of Sheba, or in Arabic, as we say, Bilqis Malikat Saba,
Okay.
and was the wife of the great Egyptian king and prophet Solomon.
Oh, that's Solomon's wife is Sheba.
Yes, she was wife of the great prophet Solomon. She visited ancient Egypt after King Solomon invited her, and then she married him. The ancient Egyptians clearly reported and recorded this great event in their ancient Egyptian texts, and she is known now as goddess Sishet or Sishat.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, and please, the details are published on my website. But I just wanted to have the honor to declare this announcement from your great radio show.
Well, thank you. We're very honored to have you declare it on our radio show.
That is quite an announcement.
That's quite some news. Definitely a breakthrough. Now, for people that don't know exactly what we're talking about here, let's bring them up to date. What Dr. Alsaadawi has done is he has taken all of these ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and he has retranslated them, because he has found that when they were originally translated, Champollion, when he was looking at the Rosetta Stone, made 3 mistakes. Could you tell us more about those mistakes,
yes,
Dr. Alsaadawi?
What were the 3 mistakes he made?
Yes, of course. Champollion's work, I'm sorry to say that, but it was weak and short and non-scientific. He put some assumptions which were unfortunately all wrong. From those assumptions, for example, he assumed that the cartouches in the hieroglyphic text of Rosetta Stone include names of kings, and they are correspondingly reported in the Greek line by the same utterances, which is not true in both cases. I proved that there is no name called Ptolemy, for example, or Ptolemies, to be a name of a king, and I proved that kings and leaders of the Greek era had different Greek names. And here, for example, is one comment that was posted by the great Canadian savant, Mr. Avery Wilson, to the Guardian's discussion board. It was on Saturday, January 1st, year 2000. He said, Ossama, on your diligence in removing Ptolemy from the Rosetta Stone, I commend you. Once again, I have to note to others that myself reached the same conclusion without using Ossama's method. It is quite simple to see that when a primary key is removed, later works therefore become obsolete.
I see.
Also, Champollion assumed that modern Egyptians speak Arabic, which has nothing to do with the ancient Egyptian language, according to his opinion, and therefore he rejected modern Egyptians and their slang-spoken language from his research work, while it is the real key to correctly deciphering the ancient Egyptian language. C, the third assumption, he assumed that the Coptic line is directly related to the ancient Egyptian language, which is not true. The Copts preserved the spoken Egyptian, not the written Egyptian.
Oh, okay.
The Copts preserved the spoken language, which was prevailing all over Egypt during the Roman era, and which is the same spoken Egyptian during all epochs of Egypt and up to date. I introduced enough evidence, and I explained that most of modern names of the Copts, like Milad, Munir, Shukri, Sami, Fathi, Laila, Fatin, are all pure Egyptian names that was prevailing in Egypt during the Roman era. Some people think that these names are of Arabian source. No, these Coptic names are pure Egyptian and were popular among the Copts hundreds of years before the Arabian era of Egypt. This alone proves that the spoken Egyptian never changed, and prove also that the Copts speak only the slang Egyptian language.
Okay. For those of you who are unaware, the Copts are a sect of Christians, a very ancient sect of Christians that have been living in Egypt for quite a long time. And it is widely known that, as Dr. Alsaadawi mentioned, that some of their liturgy and text are based on ancient Egyptian. Go on.
Please, I want to comment on the three mistakes of Mr. Champollion.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's hear that.
He wrongly deciphered many signs, not only those three mistakes, but basically I wanted to show that he deciphered wrongly the Q3, which is the square hole described by Sir Gardiner, Alan Gardiner. He deciphered it as P. There is no P in the Egyptian language. It was PH, F.
Okay.
I don't know why they omitted the H from the PH. It is F and not P. Second, the recumbent line, he deciphered it as L only in the Roman era, while it has quite another sound. It was RB, Reb. And the third one was we call it the I-9 according to Gardner's sign. He deciphered it as F while it is Z. Therefore, even his utterances of the assumed names were wrong, and I proved that.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now for the listeners that are unfamiliar with your work, what you basically said is by your new translation, by fixing Champollion's mistakes, you have come to a new translation showing that Ramesses was actually Moses, that Jesus and Mary of the Old Testament are actually also shown in ancient Egypt, and that they're not the same Jesus and Mary that's mentioned in the Christian Old Testament Bible. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Well, I have a question, and if you could go into more detail, I believe you were saying that the Ramesses, that some of these great statues, in Egypt are actually statues of Moses, Solomon, Jesus, Mary, people like that we're familiar with, and from all different sects of faith, Islam, Christianity, Judaism. Is that correct? And could you give us some examples of some of these different statues and who they are?
Yes. I will happily to do that. You know that I wish to say that my religious discoveries in the history of ancient Egypt are really great. Not only great, but they are amazing and wide. For long centuries, for example, savants, linguists, historians, and Egyptians over the whole world asked why the stories of Moses, Joseph, Abraham, Israel, etc. are not reported in the hieroglyphic texts of the ancient Egyptians.
That's a very good question.
Very important question.
Oh, yes.
Yes, why? You know that all those events happened in ancient Egypt. Abraham visits Egypt, Joseph in Egypt, Moses in Egypt, Israel in Egypt, but not a word is reported in the ancient Egyptian texts according to all those savants.
Yeah, that would be
now
quite
my work,
possible.
yes. Now my work answered all those questions and explained simply that they couldn't read the real translation and interpretations of all those great characters and events due to wide wrong deciphering of the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. I correctly deciphered hundreds of ancient Egyptian pictures and depictions that tell the real story of the religious events in ancient Egypt, in addition to thousands of correct word translations. For example, I declare that the Great Sphinx is in fact a historical ancient Egyptian depiction and symbolization of the great Egyptian prophet Abraham.
So you're saying that Abraham is actually the Great Sphinx?
Yes, it is, and it is written clearly on the stela of the Sphinx, but they simply wrongly read the text. It is Abraham. Prophet Abraham is the Great Sphinx. This is a fact.
Okay.
Second, colossal statue of the so-called Ramses II is in fact an Egyptian symbolization and eternizing of the great Egyptian prophet Moses.
So Moses is Ramesses II.
Yes, this is another fact.
Okay.
3, the great temple of Abu Simbel, for example, in Egyptian Nubia, was built to eternize the two brother prophets Moses and Aaron. And maybe you notice that the two brothers sit together on left and right of the entrance of the temple.
Well, that's true.
They wanted to say that these two statues are brothers, and here we repeat it twice, to the left and to the right.
Okay.
It is clear.
Yeah.
That is very...
Yes. And for the goddess Isis was an Egyptian depiction of the real Egyptian Holy Mary. Thousands of years before the Christ was born. I don't know. I'm astonished. The god Osiris was in fact an ancient Egyptian depiction for the Egyptian holy Jesus. Again, Jesus is in Egypt thousands of years before the Christ. The god Horus, for example, the falcon, was an ancient Egyptian depiction for the Holy Spirit.
So the falcon is the Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
yes.
I was actually going to get into that. I was going to basically ask, what about all the multiple images? I guess they're anthropomorphic images. Like for example, what we consider Anubis and Set. They have like animal heads and human bodies. Sekhmet. All these images that we call various gods. I mean, what do you make of all of those animal-headed, human-bodied depictions on the Egyptian ruins?
Yes, all these depictions, either animal or non-animal, are lingual elements. You see that the ancient Egyptians make hundreds of lingual elements. It is bilateral phonetic phones like ber, so, we, he, is, and so on. These symbols were used to compose many words and many religious sentences. They are not gods, but some of them were specified to some ideas. Like, for example, the god Horus. When you see a falcon, you know that it is the Holy Spirit. Meanwhile, it is used as a lingual component. To say, for example, he went peacefully, he is merciful, and so on.
Okay. Now,
so those images are actual lingual elements and also symbolic, but they are themselves not gods.
Now let me pause for a second here. We've got a couple questions in here that we're going to get into here in just a second.
Give the numbers, Scott.
I'm going to. One of the questions wasn't Moses and Jesus after the Great Pyramids, and that, yeah. But we're going to get into where Dr. Alsaadawi, what he's saying is that Moses and Jesus were, not the same Moses and Jesus as we read about in the Old Testament, being, if you're of the Christian faith and you subscribe to that. Now, let me give you our numbers if you guys want to call in if you have any questions for Dr. Alsaadawi. The numbers are 1-800-960-3776. 800-960-2289. That's 800-960-2289. Or if you've got a local line, you want to give us a call on the cell phone, something like that, 336-996-1596. That's 336-996-1596. Go right ahead. You were saying something.
No, I was really dumb on that.
Well, then I'll jump in here then.
Go ahead.
Now, you're saying, I think I'm correct in saying that, Dr. Alsaadawi, that the Christ that we know about in the Old Testament is different from the Jesus that you're talking about here, because this Jesus was thousands of years older, or before the birth of the Christ?
Yes.
And now, was that Christ, was that Jesus, the Jesus that you're referring to, the ancient Egyptian Jesus, was that Jesus also crucified, or did he die in a different way, or do you know? Do they tell you in the translation?
That is not written clearly in the ancient Egyptian text about crucifixion, but the ancient Egyptians reported clearly in their ancient Egyptian texts that all the Egyptian peoples loved Mary and Jesus very much, and their depictions and symbols are on every square in Egypt, on every wall, on every house. Simply Osiris and Isis, Isis and Osiris, they loved them very much, and they built temples for their names and so on. Till now, the Egyptians, the popular Egyptians say Adra, which means Adra. It means the Virgin or the Virgo, Even the constellation of the Virgo constellation, it was a very ancient Egyptian depiction for the stars and the sun signs and so on. The constellation Virgo is named after Mary, and the symbol for this constellation till now is M. And M has some sort of she is hugging Jesus, and it is depicted quite clearly in temple in Aswan, the zodiac
symbols, yes.
Yes, it is, and I published it on my website. The picture for Mary holding Jesus as the constellation of Virgo.
Now, our listeners can view your website by logging on to ours at worldoftheunexplained.com. Click on guests, and you'll have a link to Dr. Ossama Alsaadawi's website. Now, let me ask you a personal question, if that's okay.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Now, are you a Muslim? Are you a Christian? Do you subscribe to Judaism? And if you did, has this new discovery that you've made led you to change your religious affiliation? Yeah.
I am Muslim.
Okay.
But you know that the majority of the Egyptian Muslims follow the peaceful creed of Abraham.
Oh yeah.
And simple Muslims, in Egypt, are so peaceful, and they believe in Mary and Jesus quite well. It is not from so modern epochs as we say, but they know these facts from ancient Egypt, thousands of years ago. But you know that, in my opinion, that modern creeds are just an imitation of the ancient Egyptian religion.
So
this is a fact.
Has this changed the way that you've worshipped now, because you know where the faith comes from? Has this changed anything?
Yes, but it is not so simple, because I learned much about my real creed from the ancient Egyptians, very much items and principles that changed my thinking quite well. I know facts about my religion much more than before.
Well, this all ties into, with the Prophet Muhammad, in the beginning praying toward Jerusalem and saying that the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims are all people of the book. It's the same path, the same path to God, different paths, but they all lead to the same God. That whole idea.
I don't get your question, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. When the Prophet Muhammad said that all of these paths lead to the same God, we're all people of the book. The Christians and the Jews and the Muslims are all of the same book.
Yes, I think that the main holy book of the ancient Egyptians was broken into three branches. For example, I do believe that the holy book of Moses is quite the same as the Quran. And this is clearly what I proved in translating the ancient Egyptian the religious texts. They said quite clearly that the criterion, which we call in Arabic the Furqan is a very same copy of the Quran. The only difference is the writing line, but the phonations are the same. And therefore, I'm very astonished that some Quranic and some Torah verses are reported there. The Torah of Moses also reported in the ancient Egyptian texts.
How about that?
Well, we're gonna have to pause for a few moments, Dr. Alsaadawi, if that's okay. We've got a short break that we're gonna take. It's gonna run us about 4.5 minutes. If you'll allow us to put you on hold, sir, and we'll just hang on the line for about 4.5 minutes, and we'll be back. Is that okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna be back here with Dr. Alsaadawi on World of the Unexplained.
And we're back, guys.
And we're back. Dr. Alsaadawi, are you still with us?
Dr. Alsaadawi.
Yes, I am with you.
Okay, great.
Excellent.
Sorry about that short break there.
No problem.
We'll have two more.
Well, let me. We'll have two more. One more actually, because we're cutting the time short.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Anyway, let me go ahead and give that number. That's 800-960-2289. If you want to call and speak with Dr. Alsaadawi yourself about this, that's 1-800-960-2289. Or you can call us in at 336-996-1596, 336-996-1596. These are both up on our website, worldoftheunexplained.com, and these are also both of these, not only the numbers, but there's a chat room link on the OmniSound Radio 1 network that you can access on our site, worldoftheunexplained.com as well. Jump in the chat room with us. We're having a great time.
Make up a name and
just make up a name and come on in. We've got a lot of people asking questions here now. So,
should we run through some of those
questions? Go ahead. You said you had some questions for Dr. Alsaadawi.
Yeah, I need to back up a little bit. Dr. Alsaadawi, what I was interested in, when you began your studies, what were your methods for beginning to study ancient Egyptian? I mean, I guess really what I'm getting at is how does one even begin to study ancient Egyptian when, it's such a old and, I guess, from my perspective, a fairly difficult language.
Oh, yes. Please let me explain this in short, yes?
Yes.
When I realized that the spoken ancient Egyptian language is still alive in our spoken slang Egyptian, I decided to learn the ancient Egyptian language from the very beginning, and this time on real scientific background.
Okay.
Fortunately, my highly qualified scientific studies in many fields and being an experienced professional researcher helped me much in this regard. I started my work by studying for years most of the traditional works of the Western Egyptologists and linguists in this field, either by attending many classes in Cairo or Alexandria or by extensive self-studies. I began from where Champollion began. He started his work by trying to cipher few cartouches which are embedded in the hieroglyphic text of Rosetta Stone.
Okay.
I did far beyond that by studying carefully nearly 400 cartouches in different eras of ancient Egyptian history. After some time, I noticed that those cartouches do not include two main phoneme letters, which are the L and the Z. All the names of the kings do not include L or Z phoneme letters. While the Egyptian names of men and women, either Coptic or Muslims, are full of those two letters. And this fact is clear in our names, either for Copts or for Muslims. When I returned back to the table of Champollion, I never found those two phonemes or phoneme letters, L and Z, especially in names of kings up to the New Kingdom. This discovery alone amazed me and greatly impressed me, and this was the real trigger to my next work. When I resolved this problem by real and correct deciphering of these two letters, I started reading some ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic words which have the same phonation and utterance as the corresponding modern Egyptian words.
Okay.
I realized then that I am on the correct path, and that encouraged me to go further and deeper in my studies about the ancient Egyptian language.
Oh, okay. Well,
now, may you give me one moment to explain the methods of study I did?
Absolutely.
Yes. My methods of studying the ancient Egyptian language are quite simple but advanced. I first started to revise the basic table of the hieroglyphic phoneme letters, which is composed from 25 basic phoneme letters. After long studies and research work, I discovered that Champollion succeeded to cipher 17 of them, and partially succeeded in 3 of them, and failed to decipher 5 of them. When I fixed the whole basic table, after about 4 years of hard research work, I moved to the much more complex table of the bilateral phonetic Egyptian hieroglyphs, which include about 1,000 basic signs. Unfortunately, Champollion and his followers succeeded to correctly decipher no more than 10% of those signs.
Wow.
This led to wide distortion and corruption in further translations of the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic texts, which in turn led to extreme distortion in interpretations of the major events and records of the ancient Egyptian history, as I explained before.
Oh, okay. That would stand to make sense. If you begin to learn a language and you start incorrectly translating it,
you would be wrong.
Yeah, basically everything else from that point on wouldn't be correct as well, and as far as science.
Let me go off of that subject just for a second, Dr. Alsaadawi, if that's okay. I noticed that the symbol that we use, the symbol that comes down from the ancient Egyptians, that we call them ankhs, I think they look like the cross.
Yeah, with a loop.
Yeah, with a loop. And this cross symbol, we use in Christianity. And that's why I had asked that earlier question about the Jesus in the ancient Egypt, if he had died in a similar fashion, because that cross symbol has passed down from the ancient Egyptian and now back to the modern religions we know today.
Yes, this is fact. You know that not only the cross symbol is an ancient Egyptian, is a pure ancient Egyptian symbol, sign. It is called Z11 according to the Gardner listing of ancient Egyptian symbols. Z11 is the classic cross, and the phonation of this symbol is AM, AM, like we say I am. It is AM, AM, and it is used in composing thousands of ancient Egyptian words, which include the phrase am. And not only the symbol, even all modern symbols, for example, the flag symbol, AL. Now we put the flag symbol in everywhere. It is AL, used for that in many words, and so on. The star symbol is a pure ancient Egyptian symbol. If you revise the ancient Egyptian symbol, you will notice that nearly all symbols, modern symbols, are ancient Egyptian. Simply, I say always that modern words speak ancient Egyptian language. And I proved also that the English letters themselves are pure imitation, either in grapheme or in phonation, to the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Not only the English, but also the Arabic.
Oh, yeah.
The Arabic alphabets are also pure ancient Egyptian.
Right. It would stand to reason that a lot of other Western European languages, if they use like the English alphabet, are also derived from ancient Egyptian, following that logical progression.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What's your questions?
I don't know.
I got one. Okay. I think, obviously, the things that this retranslation, this relooking at the hieroglyphs and Egyptology in general, that's got to cause quite a stir amongst more orthodox Egyptologists, scholars, basically anyone who studied Egyptology. You know, what you're saying is so. It's so groundbreaking that it has to have some kind of a reaction, whether positive or negative. Could you tell us a little bit about the reaction that you've gotten from other Egyptologists and scholars, Dr. Alsaadawi?
Yes. You know, the problem is quite complex, and I wish to say that the Egyptians, before I'm talking about the Egyptologists, the Egyptians are the greatest Egyptologists, you know, the Egyptian people themselves. The Egyptians handle now nearly all my great discoveries and interpretations of the ancient Egyptian pictures and the major ancient Egyptian symbols. The people themselves, they are very happy by these new discoveries because it tells them how great their ancient Egyptian forefathers were and how the ancient Egyptian great civilization was the real mother and origin of all modern civilizations. This is a fact. Even Egyptologists admit that the ancient Egyptian civilization is the mother of all modern civilizations. It proves also that all religions of mankind originated from ancient Egypt. You know, formerly, the Egyptian peoples used to neglect their ancient Egyptian monuments and antiques because Egyptologists told them that their ancient Egyptian grand forefathers were tyrants, infidels, pagans, polytheists, and so on. Hence, they hated to refer to them or to hold their antiques. In fact, the Egyptian peoples felt ashamed of their grand ancient Egyptian forefathers for long tens of centuries. Now, and after only 10 years from publishing my discoveries, people may notice that the ancient Egyptian symbols and signs are spread all over Egypt, in every square, on walls, in streets, in hotels, in homes, in media, and everywhere in Egypt. It is a new Egyptian renaissance, you know.
Yes,
Renaissance.
Yes, I'm sorry for
That's okay.
my utterances of English words. I'm trying to say them correct.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
Yes, and the cause for that simply is the great discoveries of my humble person, Dr. Ossama Alsaadawi.
Now,
Only few days ago, for example, I give you an example, a very, very recent one. Only few days ago, an Egyptologist declared that few great statues of the goddess Sekhmet have been recently discovered in Upper Egypt. And he declared to all types of local and international media that goddess Sekhmet was the goddess of wildness, cruelty, slaying in ancient Egypt. But when I published at once, as a response from my side, that goddess Sekhmet was an ancient Egyptian symbol for the chaste and devout women in ancient Egypt, he hurried and made a new statement to the media that goddess Sekhmet was only a goddess for, and he tried to deny what he said before. Egyptian peoples now believe in my words because I introduced to them enough evidence and proof to every word I declare.
All right, now let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wish to say something about the Egyptologists' response to my work.
Okay.
Because you know that Egyptologists know quite well that my work is correct and logic. But they say that they didn't declare that openly because it will simply wipe out all their work. And hundreds of messages I received either from young Egyptologists or from normal people that confirm this fact.
And now, how does the Egyptian government feel about your discoveries?
On the personal level, they know that all my work is correct, but on the official level, they are afraid to declare that to the peoples because it touches many creeds and it makes many corrections to some beliefs and so on. It may make some confusing. It needs time, but they try silently and secretly to declare that step by step to the people through the media and by their work. For example, yesterday they declared that they will make a facelift to the face of the Great Sphinx. And they, for example, also they build great museums now, and all their work proves that they go along my new discoveries, and ascertain them to the Egyptian peoples.
Excellent. Here's the numbers again, guys, if you want to talk to Dr. Alsaadawi. The first number is 1-800-960-2289. That number again is 1-800-960-2289. Or if you get a cell phone or something like that, you're in the local area of K-Vegas, you want to dial up 1-336-996-1596. Or just hop in the chat room and talk to us there. 3 different ways. Okay, Scott, you had a question?
No, I was waiting for you.
Oh, I thought you had a question.
No, well, I was going to, yeah, okay, that's fine. I wanted to get into, I was going to save it for a little later, but I wanted to get into the pyramids and how they were built. I know that you believe that that through these translations that there's somehow or another they harness the power of the Nile River to build these great structures. I know a lot of people. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, I can explain that. I proved clearly that the Egyptian pyramids could never be built by manpower alone. It is impossible.
I agree.
And I used a very simple mathematical and physical formula known to everybody in the whole world. It states that the work done or the energy required equals the mass times gravity acceleration times the height. Okay. This is a very simple mathematical and physical equation. So the total work done used to build the Great Pyramid is nearly 2.2 times 7.5 billions of kilograms times 10 times 146 meters. This gives more than 2.4 terajoules, something like the stars, the power of the stars. Therefore, calculations indicate that King Khufu needed billions of horsepower to realize this historic world wonder.
We have to pause just for a second. Alsaadawi, we have a caller.
I'm sorry. Wants to ask you a question. Hang on just a second. Hi, caller. Are you? Could you turn on your radio, please? I'm sorry.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, do you have a question for Dr. Alsaadawi?
Yes, I would.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Hello, doctor?
Yes,
yeah, I have a question. What are you familiar with? There's a guy, he wrote a book about Egypt and its relation. It's very similar to yours, but I believe it predates your discoveries. I didn't realize I was going to get on the phone so quickly. I would have looked up the information already. I was in the process of doing that. But he's written many books about Egypt, but I can't remember now, so I'll just go ahead to something else. I recently discovered your work, and what confirmed it for me is I'm doing art history right now in school. And there was, I was learning European history and also ancient Egyptian history. And I saw, you even mentioned this on your site, the statue with I think it's Nefertiti, and she had one of the pharaohs sitting in her lap.
No, she's not Nefertiti.
It's not. It's Mary. But
it's Mary.
Right. Yes. From your research, I have discovered this. But what confirmed it for me is that when it wasn't supposed to be connected within the classroom. It was like two separate things, and it had no relation to each other within the what I was learning in class. But when we got to the European art, we saw the same drawings of Mary with Jesus in her lap, and statues as well with Mary and Jesus in her lap. And all those statues were said to be connected to each other, and it's just a rehearsal of things that they did in the past, within Europe. And I stopped the class and I interrupted the teacher and I said, listen, and because I was learning your stuff at the time, I was reading your site like 7 hours a day, and I said, listen, this statue with Nefertiti, what was the pharaoh that was supposed to be in her lap?
No.
Name?
No. The statue is clear, and the name Mary is written under her foot.
Right.
Under her feet.
Right.
It is written Mary, not Nefertiti. There is no name Nefertiti at all in the ancient Egyptian text.
He understands
Nefertiti is a phony name.
But what he was asking is, what was it known as before you made your discovery? What was this pharaoh that sat in the lap before your discovery? What was that? Who was that person supposedly?
They said that the statue was made in the Old Kingdom. It has nothing to do with the new kingdom of Nefertiti, and the statue was made nearly about 2,700 years before the Christ, and the statue represents the wife of the king, and the baby sitting on her lap is the king himself when he is a young boy. This is not true. The name Mary is engraved on the statue itself.
I absolutely believe you, because it's just so hypocritical and contradicting in that the teacher is trying to tell us that, basically, and me and some of my classmates, it's really ridiculous, it's an ongoing thing, had arguments about what the type of racial groups was in Africa and this and that, but yet we're studying the stuff about it, the European art, and there is a statue of his name was Saint Maurice. He was in the Crusades, and he was from Egypt, and it was the teacher described him as, and you can see the statue's features and everything, he was of an African man. Typical African features, lips and, nose and everything. And yet, we have this connection with the Crusades and the Coptic Church being the first Christian church opposed to the Catholic Church, and it was a big issue because everyone refused to make the connection with the Egyptian statue that I was mentioning, and all these other statues which the teacher herself said were connections and inspired by each other, keep being repeated over and over the years. And my argument was, obviously this is the original version, and it proves that what you've been saying about the Christianity and origins of Christianity and the pharaohs is absolutely correct. I mean, evidence is right there for everyone to see, but it's like this bias. It's almost like a conspiracy to rob people of their identity. And I'd like to know, because you said there are things that you'd like to reveal on your site, but you don't want to because it might challenge people's beliefs too much. And I'd say I disagree greatly with that, because I think the truth is the most important thing, and nothing should be held back. Let people react the way they want to, but they have to see it.
Yes.
And
I agree with you that people should see the truth. This is a fact. Must see the truth.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, caller. We appreciate you calling in.
Thanks. Where are you from, caller?
Oh, okay.
We lost him. Okay.
That's okay.
Okay, well, great. Well, it's obviously spending 7 hours a day on your site, Dr. Alsaadawi. That's amazing.
You're causing quite a stir.
You're definitely causing a stir in the United States.
Lots of information out there. Thank you very much.
Speaking about the information, I apologize. The caller just called right in the middle of your math equation involving the
pyramids and how they're built.
Please, may I continue?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, actually, if we're going to go ahead and take an early break, and we'll let you jump right back in because I know there's a lot of information you have.
Okay, that's a good idea.
So if you want to give us about 5.5 minutes, and we'll be right back. If you'll just hang on the phone, Dr. Alsaadawi, we'll be right back with you in about 5.5 minutes.
On World of the Unexplained.
No problem. I'm with you online.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
This is Omni-Sound.
And we're back, guys, to World of the Unexplained, where our guest tonight is Dr. Ossama Alsaadawi, all the way from Egypt.
Oh, wow, we've got another phone call.
Okay.
Dr. Alsaadawi, are you still with us?
Yes, I am with you.
Okay, well,
great.
let's take care of this caller.
Take this caller. Hi, caller, you're on with World of the Unexplained. Where are you from, and what's your question for Dr. Alsaadawi?
My name is Saretsi. I was the caller that called earlier.
Okay, great, yeah.
I'm sorry for calling again.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I just realized by listening that I hung up on you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Where are you calling from?
I'm from New York.
Oh, great. What part?
Brooklyn.
Okay.
Where do you go to school at?
Yeah, the reason I called back too is I have here the name of the person I wanted to ask him about if he's familiar with him.
Okay.
His name is Mustafa Gadara.
Yes, I read about him.
What do you think of him? Because I'm actually thinking of, it's very similar to yours and your theories, and I was actually very serious about buying several of his books. What do you think of Mustafa Gadara?
I think that he is an Egyptian researcher who wishes to correct and rectify many mistakes about ancient Egypt, but only he is not able to read the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs correctly. But if he will do that, he will make a great discoveries also about ancient Egypt. But he is going here and there and here and there. He wished to put his hand on the real content of the history, but I think he went astray. To know about some people, you must learn correctly their language. Therefore, Mustafa Gadara should read at first the hieroglyphs correctly, and then he could make good work after that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you, caller. We appreciate your call. Thanks for listening.
Thank you again.
Twice. Thanks for calling twice.
Thanks for calling twice.
See ya.
All right.
Okay, let's get back into the question we had before the break that we posed to you about how the pyramids were built. You were talking about the mathematical formulae and things of that nature.
Yes. I wish to say that King Khufu needed billions of horsepower to realize his great pyramids. This is an ultra-vast energy that could never be attained by passive manpower alone. No way with ramps. The Egyptians said that King Khufu used 100,000 of people to drag stones. It could never be done. No, not at all. Either by experiment or by physics or by mathematics. No way with that. I proved definitely that he made good use of the tremendous active energy, huge active energy of waters of the successive inundations and floods of the River Nile. You know that the River Nile flooded every year in Egypt in the past, and this flood was so great and so powerful. The Egyptians succeeded in controlling all these floods. The ancient Egyptian engineers also succeeded in designing and realizing many types and levels of the hydraulic lifts. This is a new fact. I discovered it and I published it everywhere. And they use them in building all of the ancient Egyptian pyramids and great temples and huge monuments. Even they used some sort of water guns in cutting colossal rocky stones and granites. You know, when you concentrate a beam of water on a point, it goes through like a knife.
Oh yes.
Yes, this is a fact, and they used all these water powers in building those huge monuments. I wish to say also that the reason for building those ancient Egyptian pyramids was great. It is not Egyptologists say that they were tombs. No one can build a tomb that needs all these huge stones and power and people. No. The ancient Egyptians built the Great Pyramid and most of the pyramids to record and preserve all the scientific elements of the ancient Egyptian civilizations. It is like the Project NASA now for USA. In Project NASA, you put all the American technologies in one project. This is something great. The ancient Egyptians did the same. The Project NASA for the ancient Egyptians were the pyramids. It included all Egyptian scientific discoveries at that immemorial time. No more than 4,000 soldiers of the ancient Egyptian army built the Great Pyramid. They say that they needed hundreds of thousands of people. This is not true, because only 4,000 soldiers controlled the hydraulics and techniques and marine techniques used to build the Great Pyramid.
Oh wow! Well,
we've got a caller.
Yeah,
for you. Hang on just a second, Dr. Alsaadawi. Hi, caller. What's your question?
Hi, it's Scott Red in Omaha.
Great, Scott.
Hey, I had a question for your guest. I was curious if he felt that there was any connection to the Central American pyramids. I know they're not built exactly the same way, but it just seems kind of odd that across the ocean there are two sites like that are similar. If there would be any maybe cross-culture pollination.
Yes, may I answer?
Yeah, go ahead. Thanks, yes, Scott. Appreciate it.
In my opinion, I think that the ancient Egyptians crossed the ocean, yes. And therefore, here in Egypt now, I made it very clear that whenever you see a pyramid, then it means the name Egypt, Masr, M-S-R, because the phonation of the pyramid symbol in ancient Egypt is Mer, M-R. And it is mainly used in the name of Masr, M-S-R. Here the S is a motorizing letter. Therefore, pyramid equals Egypt. Pyramid equals Masr. pyramid equals Egypt. In Australia, in America, in Europe, whenever you see a pyramid, it means at once that Egypt is here.
Wow. You know, actually, our man Tor Heyerdahl actually proved that Egyptians could cross the Atlantic Ocean. I think he built a traditional Egyptian craft, and
I thought it was Polynesians.
No, he did this too.
I mean, okay. I didn't know. Okay, this is
African
Tiki. All right.
It was an experiment where he proved that the Egyptians could cross over.
Anyway. We've got another caller, Dr. Alsaadawi. Caller, you're on with us. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is John calling from New York.
Hi, John. How's it going?
Hey, John.
Oh, pretty good.
All right. What's your question?
Yes, I'm curious for the doctor. How long did he think the Great Pyramids took to build? Was it hundreds of years, thousands of years, or just a short time period?
No. It is a short time period. Egyptologists say that it was about 22 years. Maybe it is correct, but in my opinion, it is less than that. No more than 10 years, because.
Really? Wow.
Yes, because I will tell you a secret. I know how the Egyptian Great Pyramid was built day by day and hour by hour. It is very simple, and the technique is quite known to the Egyptians. Even the popular Egyptians, when they built their homes and their buildings 20 or 30 years ago, they used the same technique without any change. And you can, if you come to Egypt and you notice how the upper Egyptians workers built the building, you will be amazed by the very simple techniques they use to build the high buildings. It is the same. No more than 8 to 10 years for maximum King Khufu needed to build his Great Pyramid. He used boats, and he used power of waters and inundations. Only few workers needed to control all that. And they reported that clearly on the walls and in their texts and so on.
Wow. Yeah. Is there a reason why they used stone to put all their records instead of paper and other things? Did they want everything permanently remembered in stone, you think, for us to know?
Yes, they use stone because they knew that any other materials like papers will vanish. But hard stones and granite stones, live for a long time, survive for a long time. Therefore, they recorded their texts on rocks and on granites and so on. And they used also the Great Pyramids to record their great texts about their civilization and so on.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thank you for calling.
All right, that was John. Thanks, John.
You have some questions. Looks like you're writing down from the chat room, right?
Oh no, this I'm writing something else down.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I was taking notes. Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting. Water power. I haven't heard that. That seems such an easy and simple possibility. It's one so obvious to build something that monumental.
We do have another question here.
Okay.
What do you think about, Dr. Alsaadawi, what do you think about Christopher Dunn's theory of the Great Pyramid being some sort of power supply?
Power supply for what?
I don't know. That was the only question they asked. Maybe some kind of.
Yes. You know that there are many claims and many theories that they say that the Great Pyramid was some astronomy machine, and the King Khufu used the boats to ride in the boats and go to the sun god and say, "Hello, Mr. God, we here to shake hand with you," and we return back on the beam to the. No. I explained clearly that the pyramids were built to record the ancient Egyptian civilization with its all elements and like Project NASA. It is a scientific, pure scientific work. No with other descriptions. I'm sorry to say that.
Huh. Well, that certainly would clear things up. Now, going on back to the maybe the religious aspects of this thing for a little bit. It's kind of hard to say because when I've studied things about ancient Egyptian history, obviously they're based, like you say, on mistakes. And what do you make of the pharaoh that was referred to as Akhenaten and his supposed religious revolution in ancient Egypt? Apparently Akhenaten began worship of a different sort of deity or something else, and he moved all the priests to another city and built a city somewhere else. What do you make of that, Dr. Alsaadawi?
Oh yes. King Akhenaten. Yes.
Yes.
I discovered that his real name was Aga. But no problem. Let's speak about his phony name Akhenaten. No problem. It is known among it is known among modern Egyptologists as being the unifier of gods into one god, which is Eton, or the sun disk.
Right.
Yes. This is not true. In eyes of the ancient Egyptians, Akhenaten was an infidel to the ancient Egyptian religion. This is quite clear. Along the very long and extended history of Egypt, starting from far pre-dynastic eras, the Egyptians worshipped only one god, who is Ra. It consists of two letters, only two letters, R and the Egyptian Ain. It is like the Hebrew Ain. In Hebrew there is, and in Arabic also it is Ain. So Ra. This is an ancient Egyptian shorthand which means Lord of the Universe, Rabb al-Alamin, Lord of the Universe. And the Egyptians worshipped the Lord of the Universe, or Lord of the Universe, for long thousands of years. And he has been symbolized by the sun, by the winged sun. You say that there is a sun, and some wings go out of the sun. This is the symbol of Ra,
right.
And it is quite clear on the walls. And yes. Therefore, we find for this symbol, we find it on the top of gates of all ancient Egyptian temples. The Egyptian religion was always the creed of Abraham, represented by the great Sphinx, Ra, Amun, and so on. And they never changed it at any moment in the Egyptian history. Akhenaten, it is clear from his pictures and depictions and statements and texts and so on, he was eccentric and odd, either in his body or in his mind. He tried hard to wipe out the ancient Egyptian religion represented by Ra and Amun, and to replace it by worshipping the material sun disk itself. He considered that the sun itself as a material body is the God, saying that it is the real God, and that we see it every morning, and it never dies, and so on. He referred to this his God, to his God by the sun disk, which extends many hands holding many lem signs or S34 signs. He wanted to say that I give you life, and the sun give you life, and it takes life from you also. It was something heretic, and the Egyptians of all tribes and sects refused his heretic claims, then they killed him and destroyed all his establishments and erased him from his family and his family from the royal list of Egypt. This is the real story, and it is clearly reported in the text, and everyone who can read it quite well, either from the pictures and depictions or from the words themselves.
Wow. That's clearly, well, I guess he's a heretic either way, whether he has a phony name or...
Yes, he is a heretic, yes.
Either way you go, he's a strange fellow.
No,
anyway.
I have a question. We see that, that Jesus is there, Mary of the Old Testament is there. The falcon, or Horus, representing the falcon, is actually the Holy Spirit. Now, is there a Trinity in this ancient Egyptian world also? Is there a God the Father figure? Is there a... I mean, and what was that? Would that be represented Ra? Would that be Ra? Or the equivalent of Ra? Or
no, Ra was a symbol. Ra was a symbol to the Lord of the universe. It has nothing to do with other symbols. It is an independent symbol to say that Lord of the universe. It has nothing to do with other symbols like Mary, Jesus, David, Solomon. All of them have other symbols each identity has a separate symbol, but Ra has the symbol of the sun, winged sun.
Okay, well, what is God the Father's symbol in all this?
The Godfather?
Yeah, Jesus Father, and also part of the Holy Spirit. Is there a Trinity? Do we see a Trinity like we would find in Christianity and the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs?
No, the Egyptians clearly reported that Mary, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, they picture them together. The three of them together. They never mentioned it to any other symbols. If you revise the pictures on my site, you will see clearly that the Holy Spirit with Mary and Jesus, the three together.
Okay. What I was trying to get to though is Abraham. You know, in the stories we read in the Torah and the Old Testament, the stories we read about Abraham and the God, you know, that he talks to, is this God Jesus and Mary then, or is this God a different, separate being?
No, Abraham was talking with other God identity, not to Jesus or Mary.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, we've got about 6 more minutes with you. And then we're gonna have to get off here due to one of the things is the price of the phone call is pretty steep. But we're gonna continue our show for another 30 minutes after we get off the phone with Dr. Alsaadawi.
Yep.
So
talk about what we've
some of the new stuff coming on, and talk about this. But if you got about 6 minutes, Dr. Alsaadawi, if you want to wrap up your newest discovery,
and let people know who weren't here in the beginning to. Hear what you had to say. And give us your website and all that good stuff.
To speak about my discoveries.
Your brand new discovery.
Your brand new discovery we talked about earlier.
Yeah, the end.
Yes. I thank you for your saying, and I wish to repeat my great new discovery again, if you please.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yes, I have the honor to announce that the ancient Egyptian goddess Sishat is in fact the well-known Queen of Sheba. This is a great discovery. And Queen Sheba of the old kingdom of Yemen was also known in history by the name Balqis, Queen of Sheba. Or in Arabic we say it Balqis Malikat Saba. And she was the wife of the great Egyptian king and prophet Solomon. She visited Egypt after King Solomon invited her, and then she married him. She was the wife of King Solomon. The ancient Egyptians clearly reported and recorded this great event in their ancient Egyptian texts. She is known now as goddess Sishat or Sishat, and it is reported by this name in most of modern Egyptian books of Egyptology. I have many great religious discoveries, and for example, the great Sphinx is Abraham. The colossal statue of the so-called Ramses II is in fact Prophet Moses. The great temple of our symbol was built to eternize the two brother prophets Moses and Aaron. The goddess Isis is Mary. The god Osiris is the Holy Jesus. Horus, the god Horus, was in fact, who is depicted as a falcon head, was in fact the Holy Spirit. The god Thoth, or Tohot, or Tohuti, or Duhuti, they offered him many names. With ibis bird was in fact the prophet Noah. Yes, Noah. And I discovered many other identities like woman of Imran, pious wife of Pharaoh, and many others. All of them are explained on my website.
Okay.
And what is that website, Dr. Alsaadawi?
I have three main websites. The simplest one is abulhol.com, ABOLHOL.com, www.abulhol.com. From here you can go back to OssamaAlsaadawi.com and Egyptology.tutatuta.com.
Okay, great.
Yes, I think the Tutatut is the one that's on our website.
Yeah, that's the one that's on our website. Yes. And we'll continue to have that link posted for anybody that wants to come and see it.
Well, Dr. Alsaadawi, it's been a pleasure
and an honor.
Talk to you.
Thank you.
I am very honored. I am very glad to talk to you, and thank you very much, and thank you for your valuable time.
Oh, thank you for yours, sir.
Yes. All right, take care.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Ossama Alsaadawi.
From Egypt.
From Egypt, yeah. That phone bill is going to be fun.
It's sad, too, because it was very interesting, the stuff he was talking about. I mean, quite frankly, we just couldn't afford it.
Yeah, well.
I mean, but we could afford what we could afford. But,
yeah, and plus we're going to play a little game tonight.
What?
This is going to be fun.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're going to play a little game tonight. All right, here's the deal.
Hey, that's great. You know, I come in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, you come in 15 minutes before the show. This will teach you.
Yeah, I guess I need to show
up
an hour before.
Everybody keep listening. We've got another 30 minutes, and I'm going to explain this game that you can play with us, and you can win some of our stuff. So, if you call it, we're going to take a little break here. We're going to play some songs. Actually, Walk Like an Egyptian. That's going to be. Hey, it's a good song, and I thought it fit. You know, Egyptology, Walk Like an Egyptian. It was kind of funny, last minute thing. Yeah. Anyway, but we want to thank Dr. Alsaadawi for being on our program tonight. Fascinating stuff.
Truly, as we Southerners say, a scholar and a gentleman.
And we're gonna take a short break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna explain this new contest that we have on our show here that we're gonna start running every week. So hang tight with us, and we'll be back in about 4.5. I know, yeah.
At the last minute.
Okay,
some kind of game I didn't know anything about. Did you just come up with this?
I just came up with it. Well, actually, I'm stealing the idea from another popular radio person in this area. Yeah, they do it all the time. Except they have better stuff to give away than we do.
Are we giving away stuff?
Yeah, we're giving away stuff.
Wow.
So we're giving stuff away. Now check it out. All right, so don't leave, don't go away, don't go anywhere, guys. Here's what we're giving away. This week we're giving away a copy of Joshua P. Warren's book, How to Hunt Ghosts, and A World of the Unexplained keychain, and any of the World of the Unexplained interviews that we've done in really good 320K MP3 quality.
That's actually better than CD quality.
It's better than CD quality, yeah. It's right off the board.
Yeah.
So, you know.
How many?
Well, there's three things. The way we're going to do it is we've got this, we're going to call it something like, I don't know.
Well, let's not worry. We'll come up with catchy names
later.
You know,
grab Wotu's real wares. I don't know. Anyway, to get in the Wotu box here, what we're going to do is to get in the Wotu box. Now, to get into the God, stop! Don't look at me like that. To get it to win, the way it's going to work is I'm going to ask Trent 5 questions, and we're going to trade seats every week, and we're not going to cheat. I promise.
That's good because I'm going to bust you, man.
We're going to ask 5 questions. I'm going to ask Trent 5 questions, see what he knows about vampires, tonight's subject matter, since we have Rosemary Ellen Guiley coming up, and she does a lot of research on vampires.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask Trent 5 questions about vampires, and he's got 30 seconds to answer
30
them.
seconds?
That's it.
That's
now,
almost, dude.
I'm not done. Now, the guest, whoever the caller is,
like a minute or something.
the Wotu Crack House $2 Pyramid. That's what our producers call it. And we can call it that. That's fine. So, anyway, so what happens is the caller that calls in, the lucky caller that calls in, also has to answer those 5 questions within 30 seconds. Now, whoever...
That's not very much time.
I know it's not. It's very fast-paced. Whoever gets the most questions right between you and the caller wins.
So
now,
who goes first?
Well, hang on. I got to explain this a little bit more.
Okay.
Now, you're going to go for... Actually, we're going to let you go first, and then we're going to make you go outside of the studio, and they're going to call... after they're going to be on hold, actually. And anyway, we're going to let you go on first, and then... Or let them go on first, I'm sorry, while you go outside.
And really
then when you come back... I haven't really thought through all the logistics, no.
Yeah,
but you're going to go outside, so you can't hear what I'm asking. You're not going to be able to hear what I'm asking or what they're saying.
Okay.
So, then I'm going to go get you, and then you're going to come back while they're on the line, since they've already answered the questions. They're going to know, if you're right or wrong. We'll make fun of you and laugh at you. No, I'm kidding. And however many, I'll tell you how many they got right. I won't tell you what the questions were, but I'll tell you how many they got right. And you'll say, say they got 3 right or 2 right or whatever, and then you come back in and you get 2 right, then you lose and they win. So that means they get everything that we have in our little Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid. Now, and that means they get it all. They get the CD of the show of their choice that they want. They get the book by Joshua P. Warren, How to Hunt Ghosts, it's paperback, and they also get a World of the Unexplained keychain.
Now, there's a 2-minute delay there. People.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, well, I'm explaining the rules right now. Now, so what happens? That's if they win. Now, if they don't win, if you win and you get more right than they do, you get to take one thing out of the Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid, and one item you get to keep, and they get what's left.
So
for now, and we're going to adjust these rules as it goes. Because I'm ripping it off of a local DJ. He's got a contest similar to this. So.
Is that legally binding, Mr. JD DJ?
How if I know? So the Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid.
Crack House.
I love that. There's actually a room here. It looks like our producer created a room in the chat. The Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid winners circle. Okay, so you can be a part of the Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid winners circle if you qualify as a Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid winner. So,
hey, thanks again for just throwing that on me.
Now, with that said,
right now at the last minute,
we're not going to cheat. And with that said, you guys out there listening on your computers, don't look this crap up when I'm asking you a question. Well, that's one of the reasons it goes in 30 seconds.
That's not fair.
That's one of the reasons it takes 30 seconds, 5 questions. Good luck.
They have to go first because they have to kind of know the stuff.
Exactly. Five questions, 30
fast
seconds.
Computer
and the topic is vampires. That's all I'm going to give. That's all I'm giving out. The topic is vampires.
But for tonight, apparently they're going to go second.
Well, they're going to get 30 seconds. Is all they're going to get.
Okay. Either way, it's going to be... Well, no, because, you're going to
set that up on track 2 over there.
Okay. See, what I'm saying is they're going to
pause it.
All right, hold on, man. I'm talking and operating things. Now, knock it off.
All right.
Anyway,
I'm going to light a cigarette.
No, you do that then. But what I'm saying is they're going to know the questions because I'm going to get them first. So
yeah, they're going to... Well, no, you're not going to get... They're going to... When they call in, I'm going to send you away.
So they're going to call in now?
Yeah, whenever they call in, we're waiting for them to call. And whenever they call in, about a 2-minute delay, we're challenging you on your knowledge of vampirism. Be a winner in the Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid.
Okay, take a swing at it.
Take a swing. You get a free book, Joshua P. Warren, How to Hunt Ghosts. You get your choice of a free CD, 320K, over CD quality.
Yeah, eventually we're going to put those
archive of your choice that we have up there. Yeah,
eventually put them on our store, right?
Oh yeah, eventually when we mix all that stuff up. And you also get a keychain. It says World Unexplained. It's got a little mirror on the back for the girls, and no mirror for the guys, unless the guys just want a mirror. I guess it's okay.
Or if you're a vampire.
Or if you're a vampire. I want to see if you check yourself.
Yep, still a vampire.
So we'll wait, and the phone just ain't ringing.
Well, I mean, it's a 2-minute delay. They're only hearing about it right now.
Yeah, probably. So, anyway, we'll talk about Dr. Alsaadawi. We'll talk about who we got coming on next week and all that good stuff, too.
Okay.
And, yeah. Okay, so.
Incidentally, it was a point that I made to Scott. There's like an 8-hour time difference, I think, from here to Egypt. So he was talking to us, and it was probably like 4 or 5 in the morning or something crazy like that when this interview was going on. So once again,
he stayed up
or got up early. I mean, especially to get on our show. It was quite a nice guy.
Yeah, he
with some amazing,
very nice guy. Oh, you know what? I should give the number if they want to call in.
Yeah, you probably should.
Might help. WorldOfTheUnexplained.com. You can see the number there, but the number is 1-800-960-2289. That's 1-800-960-2289 or 336-996-1596. That's 336-996-1596. So the numbers.
This game cannot be done over the chat room.
No, the game cannot be done over the chat room.
Okay. Well, you have to. Just
now, chat room people, feel free to call in if you want to challenge Trent in the hot seat here. For the, okay. There may be someone there. Hang on just a second. Well,
there it is.
Caller.
Yes.
Hi. Who do we have here?
This is Paul.
Paul, where are you from?
Paul.
Greensboro.
Oh my gosh.
Paul.
Oh, yes. Paul, you know Paul. Paul from Greensboro.
I know Paul.
Right.
I'm staring at you right now and sort of.
You want to participate in the Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid winners circle?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, I'm leaving, Paul.
All right, Trent.
You're leaving?
Trent
I gotta leave, so
I
don't hear the questions.
Trent's got to leave.
All right. So we'll see you in a bit, Paul.
We've got another.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Just take that with you because it's bothering me. I think. All right. And hang on, we're gonna wait till he's completely outside. Yeah, we gotta wait till he's completely outside. He's going out now.
Goodbye. How you gonna get me?
I'm gonna come bang on the door or something. I don't know. go out there. Oh, good. I'm glad it's raining. Go. Oh, great. All right. Here we go. Now, here's what we're gonna do, Paul. Do you understand the game as we're gonna play it?
You're gonna ask me questions about vampires, and I've got 30 seconds to answer them.
You got 30 seconds to answer them. That's right. Now, I've got a little buzzer set up here, too. It's a little timer. It's like a little 60 minutes clock. It's really cool. I hope this works because it's the first time I was trying this.
Okay.
So, if we screw up, you'll get the free stuff anyway. So, all right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, crap. Hang on. Yeah. I just like jammed 3 seconds off your time there because I didn't have the volume up. We're going to give you an extra 3 seconds after the buzzer, Paul.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Very sporting.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go. This is working out so well for me. It really is. See, this is why usually Trent does all this stuff. There we go. Hey, look, there's the noise, right? And we're going to have to do this again. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Well, that's not working either. That's why we're not that professional, right? All right, here we go.
Okay.
Wait till it starts. All right, what actor played Dracula in the 1933 original black and white film?
Alex Von... no, Max Schreck.
Okay, number 2. This is the German word for vampire.
Vampire. Das Vampire.
Number 3. What's the main character's name in John Polidori's novel The Vampire?
No idea.
Okay, who directed the 1922 film Nosferatu? That's it.
Hair something. I don't know.
Okay, you got none of them right, Paul.
What?
None of
Max
them
Schreck,
right.
the director?
No. That's
Who was Max Schreck?
F.W. Murnau was the director of the 1922 film Nosferatu. The German word for vampire is Nosferatu. The actor that played Dracula in the 1933 original black and white film was Bela Lugosi. And I didn't get to my last question, but I want to see how smart this guy is. Okay.
The original in Nosferatu is Bela Lugosi?
The original. You're right. Max Schreck was the. Okay, I'll give you one.
Okay.
And the 1933 original Dracula film. The original film titled Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll give you one. You don't have to know.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go out and get him, and I'm going to play Sanford and Son while I'm gone. How's that sound? All right, here we go. Here's some Sanford and Son for your listening pleasure. Okay.
So,
are you still with us, Paul?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, good. All right. Now, Paul got one right.
Okay.
All right. And
it's really hard.
It is. So I'm going to see. We're going to put you in the hot seat here.
All right. Well,
for the Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid.
Warm up a little bit then.
All right. Are you ready, Trent?
I didn't even have a coat on.
Trent,
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go. All right. Yeah, crank that up. It's going to start as soon as I press this button.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. What actor played Dracula in the 1933 film of that name that was a black and white film?
That's Bela Lugosi.
Correct. What is the German word for vampire? Okay, you want to pass?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay. What was the main character's name in John Polidori's novel The Vampire?
I don't know.
Okay, pass.
I really don't.
Who directed the 1922 film Nosferatu?
Was that Fritz Lang? Oh, wait a minute. Nosferatu is the German word for vampire.
All right. And I can't ever get to my fifth question. The fifth question was, Barnabas Collins was a character on which show? Do you know that, Paul?
I'm sorry, repeat it?
Barnabas Collins, do you know what show he was a character in by any chance?
I know.
Was that on Dark Shadows?
It was, yeah.
It is Dark Shadows. They played on they used to play on Sci-Fi.
Well, even if I give you two, he still wins. And I hate that because I like to see him lose because he gets all upset. But what we're going to do is we're going to allow Trent to take one of the prizes out of the prize the prize pack, and that's up to you. It can be any of the three. You've got your choices about what you want to take out, and they get the rest up.
I guess I'll just because of my selfishness, really. I like the Joshua P. Warren book.
Okay.
I like to take that out.
He's taking that back.
Sorry, Paul.
So that's going to still be in the Wotu Crack House next week. But you're going to get a keychain, and you're also going to get your choice of archived CD.
You have a suggestion right now, Paul?
Oh, for the archive CD?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at the site.
Okay.
Well, great. Okay. Well, you guys know each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Paul.
All right. Well, Paul. Otherwise, I would put you on hold and collect your information. But since Trent knows you, we're going to save on postage. Is that cool?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right, Paul. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling in, Paul. Seriously.
And thanks for playing the Wotu Crack House $2 pyramid. All right. Thanks a lot, man.
Bye, Paul.
All right. See, that was fun. It was
yes, I mean, except just going outside when it's 40 degrees and raining.
Did you guys in the chat room like that? We're hearing nothing.
Well, yes,
the delay. That's right.
Chat room.
Yep, chat room.
You
Chat room
won't hear
delay.
anything because it's words, not spoken words, but written ones.
Written ones. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes left. So let's go through who we've got coming on next week.
Let's do it, Scott. Yes.
Okay. You don't know? You're not prepared?
Yeah, I'm prepared. I'm sorry, this whole quiz show thing, this totally like floored.
I don't know. It was just an idea I had, and it came. I want to thank Patrick Bailey, by the way, for putting that little time clock thing together.
It's like
for
somebody
me.
threw a boomerang
and
or
for the Sanford and Son stuff.
At my head.
That was kind of cool. I like the Sanford and Son.
I don't know why I just mentioned a boomerang.
It's because we were watching Sanford and Son this weekend during my birthday party. I'm now 30 years old.
Fred Sanford. Glory
Fred
be.
Sanford.
What a man.
That's it.
Let's go to the guests and get back to Paranormal Talk Radio.
I'm going there, man. Okay. Next week we have Rosemary Ellen Guiley.
Oh, yeah. She can basically talk about anything she wants to.
She can. That's why I did the vampires thing, because she's...
I mean, wow. I mean, such a broad thing. But how many books has she written again?
A bunch. Over 40.
Yeah. She's a very prolific author in these topics.
Yeah, so we really don't even know, we don't really even know what we're going to do as far as, like I said, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, any topic that you guys are interested in, you can call in and you can talk with Rosemary Ellen Guiley.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
more than happy to answer any of your questions. Next week after that, we've got our Mothman friend.
Oh, yeah, the Mothman.
Yeah. Mothman. Jeff Wamsley, he's going to come on. That should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and then next?
And the next, that's your dad's.
Oh my gosh, the Bigfoot guy.
Yeah, Lauren Coleman.
Yeah, I gotta make sure Pop is listening that night because he's huge into cryptozoology.
Can you see this from here?
No, I can't actually.
Oh.
That's why.
That's why.
I recognize the pictures. I guess that's the.
John Zaffis.
Yeah.
John Zaffis coming up April 17th. Then we've got film director Ethan Dietenmeyer from the and some of the cast members, which I need to find out who those are going to be. I need to call him, of St. John Smith.
Yes.
Here in L.A. May 1st, we've got Tom and Lisa Butler from the American Association of Electronic Voice Phenomenon.
EVP experts. That'll be cool.
Interesting fact, they helped with that film.
White Noise?
Yeah, they helped with that. Yeah. Nigel Suckling, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, because otherwise I'll get crucified. May 8th, Vampires, Werewolves, Witches, Facts, Figures, and Fun. May 15th, Michael Zarion, Atlantis, Alien Visitation, Genetic Manipulation. Michael's going to talk to us about all that kind of stuff, his Irish origin, a lot of, his belief in maybe leprechauns. I'm going to try to bring that up, too, and what he thinks about how leprechauns are actually real.
A little bit belated.
Oh, yeah.
Concerning
the season.
That's how the guests roll.
You get what you pay for.
Huh?
We don't pay our guests, so you get what you pay.
Oh.
May 22nd.
Special show.
Special 3-hour show. It's very important. Start at 7, end at 10. Joshua P. Warren, How to Hunt Ghosts. He wrote that. And he also wrote Pet Ghost, Animal Encounters from Beyond the Grave. That's a new one coming out.
Interesting.
He's going to be with us for an hour, followed by Adam Go-Rightly for the last 2 hours.
Mr. Ferrant.
Mr. Ferrant.
There he is.
May 29th, Dave Ferrant, the president of the British Psychic and Occult Society. And you may know this name because of the Highgate vampire thing that we talked about a long time ago.
It was actually our first show.
I think maybe like 8 people listened or something.
Yeah, we
7 or 8.
talked to Sean Manchester. I mean, we didn't talk. We talked about Sean Manchester.
Yeah, we talked about.
It would be great to get.
I'd like to get them both on the phone.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
That probably never happened.
Never
but
will.
at least to get Sean Manchester sometime. That would be really cool. He seems like a really cool guy anyway. So
June 5th, we have 2 psychics, Six Charmed and Divine Dove, psychic mediums. They're going to talk about, I don't know. They should be able to tell me. I don't know. Yeah, it's like I know. I'm picking.
You're just in a real joking mood.
I'm in a really weird mood tonight.
Okay, well anyway.
And June 12th, we've got David Icke. David's got some different ideas. I think you'll find them very interesting. We're going to do that pre-recorded.
Yeah, so there won't be any calls, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're going to actually do that sometime here next month. This is when we've got that set up.
It just basically that's how it falls. But and of course we got a lot of chickens in the pot, so to speak.
That's right.
As far as guests are going.
Laura just accused us of running a sweatshop here in the studio.
No.
Shut up. Get back to work. Where's the whip, Trent?
Don't worry, I got Sing to take care of that. Show him outside.
Yeah, anyway, and for those of you guys that are interested in our archives...
that was really bad. I apologize.
We're going to make them available for purchase somehow once I get through all the legal BS.
Yeah.
We'll make those available for purchase later at a very, very, very reasonable price. All that good stuff.
Yeah. It'll be cool.
And no, Ike will take phone calls from the public on the radio. It's just that he's on Greenwich Mean Time, and, he's in Australia, I believe. I'm not sure. Is that right?
Australia?
I think it's Australia.
Oh, my gosh. That's almost like a 12-hour time
Yeah,
difference.
I mean, the time difference is just really...
we got to do a show like at midnight.
I think Laura just said he's in England, she thinks. I thought he was in Australia. I could be wrong. Like I said, I know the time zone difference is... I think it's like... I don't know. Maybe it's
4
like
hours.
4 or 5 out.
I think England is 4 or 5, and Australia, it's on the same time zone.
Who knows? I've got the email somewhere.
It's a 12-hour time difference. So either way, we'll announce that. So if you happen to be listening at the time we're recording the show, that'll be fine. We'll fill all you guys in.
And we're still taking callers for the next 5 minutes just to shoot the junk.
Yeah,
we're cool with
talk about this crazy thing that Scott just invented, apparently.
Oh, yeah,
I think he just invented it right now.
My Wosu Crack House $2 pyramid?
Yeah, I think he just totally invented it.
I didn't invent that. We'll have to give that to Jeff. He came up with the name.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about the game.
Oh.
I just kind of spontaneously decided.
The game, I just decided spontaneously. I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days, but I decided spontaneously to do it tonight.
Didn't really tell me about it.
And that means that next week that I'm going to be in the hot seat against whoever. So that should be fun.
In the words of Drago from Rocky IV.
Oh my God!
I will crush you.
I bet you will.
I can't believe I just quoted Rocky IV. This thing is slowly slipping into some kind of bizarre place. Let's thank our listeners. Thank you, listeners, from wherever you are. Michigan, we know you're there. Federal government, hi. Florida, Milwaukee.
Florida, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Florida.
No, Florida, Milwaukee.
Interesting.
All you guys, thanks for listening.
Interesting side note.
Okay.
We have hopefully we're going to have the Mofugger, the guys from the Mofugger thing on our show. I don't know how we're going to do that because it's not really unexplained, but at some point in the future, I think it'll be kind of
off topic.
Kind of neat to have them on, though. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. I guess it's funny okay stuff. Every now and again to have like an off topic.
Yeah, funny stuff. I'm trying to get a very, very sought after guest here too. I'm working on real hard.
Very sought after guest.
Yeah. Very famous actor. Very famous actor.
Dude, if you get this particular guest,
I
mean it's as good as Sean Manchester.
That's better.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Sean Manchester is like the holy grail. You know?
He is. And that's because he won't do interviews anymore, and we know it.
Well, yeah, he's a very interesting person too.
Oh yeah.
On top of it,
I love to talk to him.
But that particular guest, just as good.
Just as good.
Yeah. Wow. And Dr. Alsaadawi, calling all the way from Egypt. He was a great guy. Had some really earth-shattering things to say.
That's crazy.
You know? I'm really just stoked about the notion that we had just talked to a fella in Egypt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in Alexandria, I think.
I think it was Alexandria, Egypt. But I mean, just the notion. I mean, us, podunk.
It's not
fellas.
podunk. It's K Vegas, man. It's Kernersville, North Carolina.
Small town where we talk about big things.
That's right.
And we did. I proved my little saying tonight.
Yeah.
We are in a small town.
Talking about big things.
And we talked about very, very big things.
Yeah, you don't get much bigger than pyramids. They're pretty big.
Or like the whole notion that everything
you know is wrong.
Yeah, that's from Octoon Baby, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's on the Zoo TV tour. Mm-hmm. It's something that was flashed up there. Not like that really matters or anything.
You might have got it from somewhere else, though.
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
Bono takes ideas like that.
He takes serious liberties.
Yeah, he does.
He's Bono, so.
I know, so he can do it.
Anyway, what are they saying about the? I can't read the chat room stuff.
I know.
So
something about William Shatner, and then Mofugger, and then that'll be a fun one for real. That's exactly what.
Wait, Scott, let me read on my chat room side. Roadblock, doorknob, popsicle.
I'm sorry, I meant to.
It's fun.
I meant to. I meant to set you up that other computer today, and I don't. What did I do today? Oh, I got up at 1.
Scott, we need to be professional about this. We're professionals, and our.
Don't try this at home.
Yes, it's very difficult. It is very difficult. We spend a lot of time.
Yeah, we do put a lot of time into
editing and everything like that.
And we're just
So I guess if anybody wants to call, even though there is that 2-minute delay.
They've got a minute.
They got a minute. That's it.
Yeah, we're going off air here in a minute, unless Jeff's already killed us and thrown up some music that was better.
Might have been.
Yeah, you might want to just throw up our little music there, a little outro music.
We can do that too.
That's right.
Mr. Jeff.
Yeah, but if Jeff does it, no one will be able to hear us.
That's true. Come on now, Quincy Jones.
All right.
Come on.
That's going to wrap it up for World of the Unexplained this week. I'm Jay Scott.
I'm Finn Lackey. We're from Kernersville, North Carolina.
Wait a minute. You got to let me finish my whole thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. You do have a little.
Yeah. I'm Jay Scott, the only JD DJ on the OmniSound Radio 1 network. Anyway, I'm Jay Scott.
I'm Finn Lackey. We're talking from Kernersville, North Carolina. Small town where we talk about big things.
See you guys later.
See you next time.